Instagram, yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Pink Fan Fur. We are live tonight. We are live. We got a great show for you tonight. It is Pink Fan Fur and Company. Yes, we have our special guest tonight, and we are going to introduce her shortly. But I wanted to take some time to say thank you, everybody out there in internet land, Facebook land, YouTube land, Instagram land, all that. We're streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So we are also streaming live on All Things Football from a lady's perspective, as well as Prim and Proper Sports. So you guys can follow us a number of ways. Tonight we've got a special guest for you, and before we start the show tonight, I want to tell you about the show a little bit about the show Pink Fan Fur. How did Pink Fan Fur and Company come about? Well, as you all well know, I am a super fan of the Carolina Panthers. Bryce up, son. And I have been a Panthers fan since 1995 ish. And being a super fan is actually a thing. I mean, how many people know that? This is actually a thing, ladies and gentlemen. And so we go all out. We go to events. We love our teams. We love our events. We are fans of just about anything. And here on this show, it is a show for and by super fans, where super fans can come on the show and we can chop it up and talk about all things super fans, all things football, all things sports, and talk about everyone's journey, talk about their experiences about being a super fan, any special players or favorites that they have met, talk about their outfits, talk about their makeup, and all those things, and talking about also as well any adversities that you've become come over or gotten over and gone through, what you're doing out in the community and how you're making a change and how you're making a difference out there. So that is really the reason for this channel. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me go ahead and do these thank yous and shouts out before we start. So this is a collaboration between myself and Sonia Pearson. She is the founder and president of All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective, Prim and Proper Sports, and she airs on all her shows. She airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m., and all of her reels are done by yours truly. So we're doing this collaboration together, and this is a production of her channel. So you guys go out there and follow her, Prim and Proper Sports, as well as All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. She is the president and founder of the Carolina Pantherettes. We have about 10,000 members over there, so you can go and follow that as well. So I wanted to shout her out and say thank you so much for allowing me to be here tonight and for giving giving me this platform and just stepping out on faith to do this on my own, because I had people who did this before me, and all of those people who done this before me, they said they laid the groundwork for this. You know, you have this foundation that they lay. And so I wanted to shout them out, including Sonia Pearson, as well as the following, and then we'll get into it. Captain Jack Rackham, Raiders fan. He allowed me to come on his show a few times. We chopped it up, talked some mad trash. Raiders fan, Raider Asylum. Shout out to you. The Cage Match Show, that is who he represents. He's a host of the Cage Match Show. And also Raider Savage. Welcome. Erica Wilson, Mom's a Motivated Son. Mike Fosnaw of First and 10 with Foz, which with Shuffling 85, as well as last and but not least, Malaysia Gresham, Harold. So all of these people allowed me to come on this show, and I just wanted to shout them out publicly and give them a thank you and appreciation for all that they do. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and play this intro before we talk about and introduce our favorite special guest tonight, Mags, Dallas Cowboys Angel. I'm going to go ahead and play her intro. So, and then once we do that, we'll bring her up on the stage. Hello, lady.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I think that's the most beautiful thing anyone's ever done for me, kind of capture the essence of, a nice hobby of mine or a nice life of mine, right? That I was not allowed to have before, but I'm here now. And so thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. We are here with Mags, Dallas Cowboys Angel, elite superfan, number one superfan of the Dallas Cowboys. And she and I met at the draft in 2023. And she came out to Carolina to the game in 2023 when we played Dallas. And you guys, actually, it was our stadium, but it looked like your stadium. But we chopped it up and we had a lot of fun, and we've been having a lot of fun ever since. And so we have her here. We're so pleased to have you here. We're going to be talking about everything and all things superfan. So you guys give out the shout out. Let me see if there's anything in the comments before we get into our discussion. Okay, so that being said, Mags, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
Hey, awesome.
I know maybe the viewers out there are interested to know, how long you've been a Dallas Cowboys fan and what is it about the Dallas Cowboys that you love so much? We'll start with that, and then you can tell the audience and viewers, what is your inspiration behind being a super fan, and then how did you come up with the inspiration or the persona Mags Dallas Cowboys Angel? The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Definitely. I actually been a fan as an adult. Growing up, I grew up in foster care, so we didn't do much sports. I never got to watch, Sunday night football with a parent. I was just a poor little orphan Annie, right? My introduction to sports was a baseball game. So once I turned of age and I started watching, my choice of TV, I started to like fall in love with football. Eventually marrying into a family that loved and is very passionate about football and Sunday nights with family, but not so much as a fandom like I have turned out. So I'm a bigger football fan than my family, right? I'm the weirdo that likes to get dressed up and scream and shout and partake in all things football, right? And so
All things.
Dallas Cowboys Angel actually birthed out of a playoff game. Probably about 5 years ago. We were playing 49ers and we lost that game. It still hurts, but it was a whiteout, right? So here I am, a Dallas Cowboys fan from LA, never lived in Texas, never been to Texas. And so I wanted to show out. So I was like, let me get my outfit together. Back then, 5 years ago, it was just the basic white outfit. I had some very long stripper boots. They were all white.
And not then, the stripper boots.
They were I got them from a thrift store for like $3. And I was like, those were it. I don't know how I'm going to walk around the tailgate with these boots, but it's happening. Let's go. White skirt, white Seek jersey. Shout out to Seek. Always a Cowboys. And then I was like, my outfit is missing something. I don't know what it is. It's missing one thing. My daughter's like, how about these angel wings? They're white? And I was like, hey, that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to be a little bit extra. And so from there on, the angel birthed at lot 10, and it spread like wildfire. Shout out to LA Strong. And, it just progressed from there, and it got a little bit more crazy fun. And here we are, 5 years later, nonstop, stars everywhere, and rooting for America's team. Knowing, believing that this will be our year. Definitely. 2025 is our year.
You guys say that every year. And then not to throw any shade, but every year it's our year. We're America's team. We're America's team. I think Kansas City is now America's team. But anyway.
Ouch. Definitely.
It's our year. It's the Panthers' year. Hey, like I say, brace up, son, brace up, son. So, but yeah, I wish you guys all the best. And you mentioned that you came from the city of Los Angeles, California. And so, we have things in common. We have, born in Los Angeles, California. So awesome. That's where I was born. And we both came from California. I came from the city of Compton, also too, like you grew up poor as we didn't have a piss in. And I heard you say it, and then you were raised in foster care. And so that's one of the things that we do here on this show is we talk about some of the things that you've overcome, because everybody goes through something, right? I mean, seriously, and you get through it. And it sounds like, you got through the tough times, you got through the foster care. And then when you said, hey, when I became of age and able to make your own decisions, you chose and decide to become a sports fan. And so sounds like you have gone through it, and now here you are, and you're everywhere. We want to talk about how do you decide like what games you're going to go to, because we all know there's 18 games,
18
and we only
yes.
at what four? We have eight home games, so it's like okay, and then you have to do away games. How do you decide? Because there's a lot of travel and expenses involved. How do you decide which away games you're going to go to?
Definitely. And just to kind of wrap up, why I'm here, why I became such a super fan. Um, you know, like mentioned before, growing up in foster care, I became a social worker, and I'm now a mental health therapist. I have my own private practice. I give back to the community. I'm a big advocate for mental health, right? And so 5 years ago, when I was having my existential crisis, right? I've been a mom for 25 years. I've been a wife for 20 years. I've been a career woman for 20 years. What about me? When do I
Right.
get my own identity, right? And so here comes this angel where I am just me, Max. I'm nobody's mother. I'm nobody's therapist. I am just allowed to be me. Scream loud, dress in funky outfits that are handcrafted, and have, these amazing hats and just in this prestige and just love and passion for other fans and for my team, right? So
Right.
that we're allowing autonomy as an adult to just be this alter ego that wants to advocate other aspects of my life, right? It's still a portion of me in there. And so that's what the angel is all about. And so yeah, to get right back to your question, is like, we like, is it April, right? April, they switched it last time on us. When the schedule comes out, we already know the away teams, the home teams, and the opponents team. That's exciting
Mhm.
enough, right? So now we have to
Right.
wait until April to find out, okay, where exactly is this? Right before Christmas, after
Right.
Christmas, how's my budget going to be, right? And so living on the edge, I am a stadium junkie. So I want to go and have an experience, right? I want to have an experience away from AT&T Stadium because I've had a lot of those experiences there. They've been
Mhm.
wonderful. But now I'm allowing myself to travel. So let's look, here we have the opponent's team. Hmm. North Carolina was always fun, right? It's always on my
The
list.
Queen City.
There you go. There you go. I had nonstop fun 2 seasons ago. That I'm ready to explore places that I haven't been to, stadiums that I haven't taken a picture at, right? Cities I've never
Right.
explored. So I
Right.
have a couple on my item list, and that's how I decide. Okay, these are my must sees. These are the ones I already saw and had a good time. So they're pending added to the cart. And now I'm just waiting for the schedule to actually come out and tell me what week we're going to be where. And if I can make that magic happen and see my friends and be there with my friends, so be it, right? We thrive on our network, our friendship, and we build from that, right? We have
Absolutely.
commonality here, right? You're passionate, I'm passionate. And then we develop a friendship from that. How beautiful is that? We're building
That is so
community
beautiful.
here. And I say community because
Mhm.
I family, I grew up in foster care. I had to makeshift my own family. I got married at 18. I'm in my 30s.
All right now.
Yep. I'm going with that story, right? And so I had to build my community. Besides my family that watches TV on Sundays with me, they're not into the super fandom. They don't want to go to all the stadiums. They would be happy just to go to AT&T Stadium. So I'm building my own community, my family, right? And we don't have to
Right.
look the same, and we don't have to cheer for the same team, but we have one common goal.
One common goal, which is fun, family, fellowship, football, and food, all wrapped into one. And you're the angel. You're gonna make it happen. Felicia Fuller says, "What up, ladies?" We got some people coming in the comments, and thank you so much, Felicia, for showing up and joining the comments. And throw your questions out there. Let's give Mag some hard questions. And Mags, I heard you say, like me, you're a social worker, and we know what that's like. We know that it's very important to, help take care of other people's mental health. And because there's been such stigma on that, but I applaud you and I congratulate you for all of your accomplishments across the board on making a difference in the lives of other people. And now and of course you talk about your family, everybody's grown and gone, and now you're doing what you love. You're doing exactly what you love. And the experiences, like you mentioned, are just extremely unforgettable and just those things that are, it's unexplainable, really. It's kind of like when I rode the motorcycle, people were saying, well, what is that like? And my response was freedom, and it's unexplainable. And so now as we grow through life, we never know what we're going to be doing, who we're going to be meeting, and who we're going to be associating with, what difference we're going to be making. But we're in these different settings now. And so now we're into this thing called being a super fan. And you have demonstrated nothing but fun and excitement. I know when you go to places, tell the viewers about when you go to your different locations, because you want to get the best experience that you can away from home, and you want to meet people, make friends, and like you said, we're going to make lifelong friends here. How how do people receive Mags Dallas Cowboys Angel in the stadiums, at the away games? But of course, they love you. They probably definitely love you at the home games. But at the away games, how do people receive you? How do kiddos? I know kiddos, they love super fans. How does that work? How does that tell the viewers about that?
Definitely. And there's a lot of stigma with that, right? Women in sports is such a controversial topic, right? So we want the same as males. We want to be equally acknowledged in a male dominated or male driven sport, right? And so here we are, right? Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready with full of knowledge because we love the sport, right? We're not just here dressing up and thinking we look cute. We know we look cute. Let's get that clear right there. But also just the empowerment. If you would have met me 5 years ago, you would have never thought that I would be this individual now, because I absorbed other roles. I said a social worker couldn't do this. My clients might see me, and so I was so ashamed, and I was very, docile and calm. And then, COVID hit, life was too short. And, here we are, like clients can see me and they can see me, they're wonderful therapists. And also the super fan that's right in front of their eyes, right? So I don't do it because I want the fandom or because I want the accolades. I do it because we're allowed to. Simple as that. As women, as individuals, and we have ageism, sexism, right, and racism as well, right? And so
Right.
we have to defeat the odds that it's just one way. No, it's every way. Everyone's welcome to love the sport and to be your authentic self, to have the confidence and be okay with loving yourself. And one of the best things that I saw this season, when I was walking down a lot 10 at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, was people asking me for pictures, but not that just people. There was this little girl. There's this little cute girl, and her mom came up to me. She's like, "Can she please just get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Of course." I'm like, "Come on, let's take a picture together." But she pleated her dress and was like, "I want to be just like you." And I was like, "Me? I'm nobody but this crazy angel walking around."
Yeah.
Right? And so that just gave me you know, the reassurance that people see you, right? And they see you for who you are, no matter if it's good, right? No matter if it's bad, but you know. And the good, they will see the good. And that's all that is. They'll see
And
the angel.
they see that authenticity, they see that true value in you, and that smile is just it's genuine, you know what I mean? Your smile is beautiful. Felicia Fuller says, thank you for being a pleasant and beautiful fan, Angel. You know, you guys met in 2023 at the draft, and Felicia Fuller too. Soldier Girl, shout out to Soldier Girl. A super fan of the Carolina Panthers and member like me of the Carolina Super Fans United. So again, thank you so much for that, Felicia. But you know, it's all about the miles smiles, you know, and when you know, those young kids see you, you never know who you might inspire or make an impact on. And you're always like energetic and happy. And because we're in our element, right? This is what
Yes.
we do. And I mean, this is who we are even out of our element, you know what I mean? Because it's part of our personality as far as who we are as a person, and that shines through when you're even in your persona. And when those kids come up to you and the parents come up to you, it is a very grateful thing, I guess,
Yes.
a thing that is full of simple humility, that someone wanted to take a picture with you. And so a lot of people do that, and they love to do it. And you have your Facebook page, we all have our social medias, and we post those pictures online. So there's a lot of those pictures going along. And if you look at those pictures and videos, viewers, you're going to notice that a lot of the fans, whether they're adults or children, they always are smiling. Like, it's you never know what kind of day they had, you know, before they got there. You never know what they're going through. But coming to an event like this, or a super fan, a game, and seeing super fans, you just bring a smile to their face. I want to say thank you for doing that, and just having that impact on, you know, everybody.
Thank
um
you.
it's
Thank you.
it's it's a thing, you know, and I say that on my page, that it's a thing. And you know, we don't have an off season. So, but
Exactly, right?
so talk about your persona, not your persona, but your you know, your fits. You mentioned that your fits are handcrafted. Like me, I handcraft all of my outfits, do all my makeup and hair, as you guys well know, and plug for myself. I can do all your makeup and hair and your fits too. But it takes a bit of a talent. It takes a calling, right? And as one of my friends told me, this is a calling. This is not something that you just wake up and say, oh, you know, I want to be a super fan. What about your outfits? How do you come up with developing your different outfits? Because, you know, you're like me. No one knows what we're going to wear or
Exactly.
show up like. So tell the audience, before we let me stop for a second. We got a couple of people in the comments. Sonia Pearson, shout out to Sonia Pearson. Hey
Yay.
lady, happy birthday. Happy birthday. She's joined the club. She is the president and founder of Prim and Proper Sports, as well as all things football from a lady's perspective, as well as founder and creator of the Carolina Pantherettes with over 10,000 members. And again, we are doing our collaboration, Sonia Pearson, and we have a show together too. It is called Prim, Proper, Pink, and Pretty. So Sonia
Yay.
says, hi, ladies, watching from the sky, looking beautiful, Mags.
Aw.
Pink, watch these beauties, she's saying. So she is in the air, ladies and gentlemen.
Cool.
She is flying from the beautiful Aloha, Hawaii. So
Awesome.
thank you so much, Sonya, for tuning in. So going back to what I was saying,
Yeah.
how do you decide your outfits? How do you create your outfits?
Well, like you said earlier, sometimes you don't know what we're going to wear until that last minute inspiration. Oftentimes
Mhm.
we're crafting or creating on the airplane as we travel or the moment before. I haven't met a super fan that is not a creative designer and in their outfits, right? Like
Right.
we have this hidden talent that we like to keep a secret sometimes, right? And sometimes we don't. It explodes in this beauty that we create. And it just comes from like inspiration. It could be from anything. It could be from seeing a picture on Instagram to like thinking about 2008, and then what were they wearing? Remember that one time I wore that outfit? I think I can do something with that. Don't throw it away. Let's put it in the bucket.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about our network is that we find people with like-minded people, and we create. This is one of Big Bell's hats. These are his creations. I just love, he makes all teams as well. Shout out to a Big Bell, the hat plug. And I
Beautiful,
refuse.
beautiful hat. Beautiful.
Look at that. And it's signed by the NFL commissioner. Just look at this art form. Like, this is amazing. Like, how did you create that concept, right? Val's from Texas, so Cowboys hats are rampant over there. And so they stand out. They're one of a kind. Every single one of them is handmade, and there is no one that's alike. Just like us. Every single one of us super fans were handmade, and there's none alike, unless we have twins. Do we have any twin super fans out there? Not yet, huh? It's coming.
They're probably out there. You know what? You know what we need to do when you come to, well, you're not going to come to Carolina, but I was hoping that we would play you guys in Arlington next year, but that's not going to happen. We're playing you guys again. And what's weird is this is the year in a row we're playing Dallas in Carolina, which is weird to me. But
Sounds like a
anyway,
party to me.
let's get together once the schedule comes out and figure out. Let's be twins, okay? Felicia Fuller says, "Happy birthday, Sonia." Thank you so
Happy
much, Felicia, for that
birthday.
shout out.
Sonia is 35 again. Yes.
Ah, yes, she is. Let's see. This is what she said. Thank you. 50 days of 50.
35.
I got to take a picture of that one. 50 days of 50. Welcome to the 50 Club. Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Everybody take their glasses off. Show you how everybody looks. 50 and over.
35.
Mhm. Well, 50 and over, and I'm proud of it.
That's my story. I'm sticking
Brace
to
up,
it.
son. Brace up, son. Okay, so, but we were saying, like, that is an absolutely gorgeous hat. And it's like what you were saying. How do people come up with these inspirations? And I think, like you said, if you're like, you know, walking, let's just say you're on a walk. And if you have the mind of a child where everything is in awe and everything is in ooh and ah, and you're impressed by everything, you know what I mean? Um, you
Definitely.
you're just inspired by anything. It could be a shape of something, it could be the color of something, it could be the sound of something, the smell, the sight. And there's absolutely endless ways where you can get inspiration. And so I
Yes.
love all of your outfits, all of the ones that I've seen. They're fire. They're
Thank
fire.
you.
They're fire. They're fire.
Inspiration even from the
You said,
field. I had a here we go from Dak. I had a whole entire whiteout outfit just to encourage Dak to go. Didn't
yeah,
work. We lost to Green Bay that day, and it snowed, and I was stuck in Texas. But I wanted to be that inspiration. I wanted to support my quarterback, right? So
right.
inspiration comes from on the field, off the field, anything, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we want to do what we can. And so thinking about, the experiences of the travel, we you talked about, well, we can't really decide where we're going to go until that schedule drops in April, which is actually along with the draft too. So if we're doing the draft, we're doing that. We're out there we're out mixing and mingling, doing the draft. And then when the schedule drops, I know for me, as soon as that schedule drops, right? You say, okay, this is the date of this particular game that I know that I want to go to. The first thing that I do is either book a room, book a hotel, book an Airbnb. That's the first thing that I do. What about you? What do you do when you know a schedule comes out and travel needs to hit and what do you do? What's the first thing?
Okay, so don't call me a weirdo, but it's okay if you do. So, I get out my planner. I put starting the season week 1, week 2, all the way through. I put where we're at. And so from there, I'm like, okay, I already knew I wanted to go to that game, so let's go. That's happening. Narrow down my list. But not only that, I actually check the Rams and the Chargers and who they're playing right here in SoFi.
Okay, yeah, because they're right there in LA.
Exactly. So then I know which friends are coming in to play them. And I get even more excited because I add them to my calendar as well, because I want to stop by if I'm in town and say hi, because I'm a fan of fans. And it's not just about the Cowboys. It's about, your network, your family. My family is coming into town. How exciting is
That
right?
part. Yes, ma'am. My glasses are acting funny. But I do think we play the Chargers. I,
Ooh.
oh, well, no, we played the Chargers last year. Let's take a look at that. But yeah, it's all about the family, the fan, the fellowship, and it is not just about the football, even though it is about the sport. And it's about that collaboration and that team thing and that sharing conversations with like-minded people and just creating that bond and friendship that are going to last a lifetime. And so we went to Vegas last year. Shout out to Soldier Girl. She said, I'm loving that hat. We went to Vegas and we had the most absolute greatest time. The stadium was absolutely gorgeous, but more or less, it was really about the people. The people were so great and gracious, welcomed us with open arms. There was no divisiveness, none of that. And I will always treasure those people. Shout out to all those beautiful Raiders fans and who accepted us and with open arms. We went to a Raiders party the night before the game, and for Soldier Girl and I, we were the only two Carolina fans, but it's okay. But you know what? They were so gracious and so sweet to us. It was a house party, and so they fed us. They gave us food and drinks. There was a lot of entertainment, and we walked around and got to meet a lot of those big, big hot super fans, and it was just an incredible time. And so really it's about the relationships. And so that's what we want to know too about on this channel. We want you to talk about the relationships and how you build these friendships. But when it comes to the travel, how do you know do you group up with people, because this travel, as we know, can be very expensive? And so how do you manage your travel as far as keeping your trip as inexpensive as possible?
Right. I mean, I save up for it, right? As much as I'd love to travel in large groups, I also like my own room, right? So, I mean, I'm willing to pay extra to just have my own space. I work hard, and God has blessed me financially, with a thriving business. And,
Mhm.
I
Congratulations, by the way.
I mean, coming from foster care all the way to, being this individual that I am, it has been truly a blessing. So, every season I honor God, and I remind him that, it's not about me, that it's about him. And if somebody can see him through me, let it happen, right? And so and that's my focus. And of course there's been trips that I missed out because I had to stick within my budget. I have financial goals, I give back to my community, and so I want to make sure that I'm also having those priorities in order. But I like I said, I work hard, I save, and there's times like the draft. Hey, Are you going, friend? Let's go together. Want to share Airbnb? What time are you getting to the airport? Want to catch a Uber
Right.
together? Right? And so those networks that you build with your friends and people that you want to hang out with, those are very crucial to just being able to go A and B. I've been hosted plenty of times. And I'm so grateful for that, because anybody that's willing to receive me as a family member, that's like gold to me. Growing up in foster care didn't have that. Even with my in-laws, come from a really close-knit family. So they don't depend on anyone else, no outsiders. And then here I go making friends. And it's like, I love it. I get to have friends as an adult that share the common goal, but also share the burden and the load as we travel, right? And it's cool to travel with your girls. It's fun, right?
Way
Girls
cool.
trip.
Way cool. Girls trip. Yeah, we were just talking about that before we came on live, that you know, if I do decide to go to the draft, that you've already invited me to come in and shack up with you guys for the weekend. And I so appreciate that, because I was talking about how expensive it's been. And that is how we do. So I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to it. Sonia Pearson said, try booking.com, pay at property reserve now. That's how I travel. Thank you so much, Sonia, for that tip.
Good tips.
And
Yes.
she says, "Oh, Mags, God has a purpose for you. Amen, 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 and amen."
Yes. And,
Preach.
and this is a purpose right here. I've met you beautiful ladies. Tell me, I met Sonia through your beautiful friendship. And so I'm blessed to call you guys friends and to have you in this
Yes.
moment, right? And this season, literally this season of life.
Right. Amen. Amen. And she says, "You're beautiful inside and out." Sonia was talking about you, the beautiful Mags, Dallas Cowboys Angel. She is our guest tonight on Pink Fanfare and Company, a platform for super fans by super fans. And this is what we're chopping up tonight, talking about Miles of Smiles and how we make that happen. you know uh it's great. I want to come out to LA. I was kind of hoping that we would play somebody close to LA so I can come and visit the SoFi Stadium. That's one of the things that's on my bucket list, SoFi Stadium. So let me know if anybody's playing close to there. Like it could be what, Arizona too, Arizona Cardinals, or
Okay.
you know, uh, even the
San
Raiders.
Francisco,
I'd come out to a Raiders game because I love the Raiders. Can't
they're
say that
fun.
for the Cowboys, but I love the Raiders. Um, my brother's a Cowboys fan. I'm surprised he's not on here tonight, but yeah, let me know and we can make this happen, because we are family now, and we're so glad to call you one of our sisters from another mother. Um, so talking about being a super fan, well, let's go in reverse just a little bit. You talk about, growing up in foster care. Do you feel like growing up in foster care was one of those reasons why you decided to become a social worker?
Oh, definitely. It had such a key component to it, right? Because of the fact that, I wanted to be that social worker that I didn't have, right? I had such a tough upbringing, and it was more, instead of me advocating for myself, it would seem like I was complaining, right? I was like, no kids should go through this type of abuse. So I was the black sheep of, the family for advocating due to abuse, right? Physical abuse and whatnot. And so I was a problem child, labeled as a problem child, for DCFS, or Department of Children and Family Services, or CPS. And so it was not the best time in foster care, right? And I was determined to be that great social worker that, that some kids still don't have to this day. And I've been in this field for about 20 years, and I can probably count on one hand how many amazing social workers I have met, right? And so it's difficult because we're often, overworked, and then we have our biases that step in. And I'm like, no, we forget that it's about this child, this individual that's here without anybody, right? I spent Christmas by myself, right? All alone in my room as a foster child, no family members, just foster parents that were checked out. And so I know what it is to be lonely. I know what it is to be without a family. And so, it definitely has impacted the way that my career has shifted, and it even has gone skyrocketed high, because now I'm a therapist, right? I'm an advocate. I can do this for fun, and I don't need to get paid for it, because I'm completely blessed. And I offer that. One of my favorite players on our roster right now is Osa, our defensive lineman, and I'm sorry, offensive lineman. And he has a great organization, even though he's a Bruin. I'm a Trojan. I always have to
Shout
throw that
out to
in there.
Marisha Jackson. She said, "What up, Pete?" I'm sorry. Just had to put that out there. And
And
Jeffrey Stamper says, "Hi, hi, Jeffrey. Welcome, 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 Jeffrey. Welcome, Marisha. Welcome, everybody." And so, go ahead, please continue.
And so I love how the players get back to their community, right? I love how they have this agenda of not only to play and be part of a team, but to be part of a community as well, and to use that. To use that as a platform where we can have some commonality, because now I have something in common with him. Two things in common, football, and now social work. So it's like, now you're talking my language, friend. Right? And so I'm not just this weird super fan when I'm cheering at training camp. I'm actually someone that can network with my favorite player and say, like, hey, how can I bless your nonprofit? How can I provide these free services? I'm qualified for it, and they're free. I don't need you to give me any free tickets or any accolades. I just want to help. That is all.
Right, right. So I want to say, well, Sonia says I haven't seen SoFi game. SoFi on game day only drove past it, so we gotta make a trip out to SoFi.
Girls trip.
Girls trip. Felicia did say we're due for a girls trip. You talk to. We're gonna talk. Want to talk too much about social work, but we do have that in common. I just want everybody to know, if you're viewing this, social workers do not just take children. Okay, that is a misconception that a lot of people think and believe, and that is simply absolutely not the case. There's so many different variables when it comes to becoming a licensed clinical social worker. There's so many things that you can do, whether it's the clinical side or the administration and community side. I've done both, and thank you so much for your service as a social worker for over 20 years. See, we're sisters from a different mother, but we got so much in common. But again, you take that personality and you apply it to different settings, like your persona, being a super fan. If you have a nonprofit organization, which you do, how can we partner up to provide services, resources, and information to people out there who may need this, because you might have that very thing that they need. um, and so it really is, and I'm so glad you mentioned this community thing, because it's interesting and very important that we all take part in community engagement, and we do volunteerism and keep that humility as bright shining as the lights that we are, as we become beacons. Like we people look up to us, but we always want to make sure we're genuine in just being in the community, and like you said, helping others. Like, we influence, we persuade, we we empower. And there's so many things that we do as social workers. But again, I'm so glad that you're living in your truth as a super fan. And I'm so grateful and thankful that we got to meet, because it is on like chicken bone right now. And we are going to be going places and doing things and having so much fun, because we're living our best life, right?
Yes, it's our year.
Yeah, it's our year. Oh, hey, it's our year. It's our year. It's our year, Dallas. Dallas, Dallas, Dallas. I hope that when I come to Arlington, because I've never been to a game in Arlington. I did visit the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Arlington, in 2018 when we were there for our national conference. So I did get to, it's a beautiful stadium. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I hope that you guys are going to be nice to us.
Always.
How about your fans? Are they nice to us?
I mean, I always encourage being nice to everyone, right? I mean, you always have some individuals that might not, but I'm always about fan unity, fan love, and that's how we go about it. You
Yeah.
any team is welcome in lot 10. We have a Cowboys Life family tailgate. All teams are welcome there and received with love. All you got to do is find all the hats, everybody with the hats, and they'll be right there on the corner.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be right there. You know what I mean? I can't wait. I cannot wait. And it's so exciting. Like the miles of smiles are just so endless. And when you think about your season 2024, like what would you say about the highlight of your season 2024? What do you feel like is the most unforgettable, experience?
Well, it was a difficult year. Let's just put it as that. The
Not as
highlight.
difficult as us.
Give me one sec. But I will say this: my highlight was Pittsburgh. Right, Pittsburgh was the trip that one of my top two trips that I was looking forward to. Everyone in Pittsburgh was so happy to see me, even though they were Steeler fans. They were just so receiving, so welcoming. I did not have not one negative comment about the Cowboys, right? Um, and so I was just happy that people appreciated the opposing team being there, and that I wasn't getting talked about. And I come with a lot of insecurities. Am I well received? Or am I just going to be made fun of because I'm me, right? And so everybody was welcoming. The cherry on top was that we were asked to go down to the field level and smell the grass and be right there with the players. So that was it for me. That was the moment. And I was like, yes,
Oh,
thank you, God. I'm so humbled and blessed by it. So that just made
that
the season bearable. At least I had Pittsburgh. And we won.
there you go. There you go, Mags. Mags just shared her greatest experience from 2024. Man, that is such a great experience. And I agree with you because I visited the stadium as well in 2021. Steelers fans, the best. They're great fans as well. Great city, that what is that? What do you call that? Water taxi that goes right over there to the side. Didn't have to walk, didn't have to drive. You take the water taxi from the little around the area and go right into the stadium. You walk right in. The fans were great. It was a great stadium. Wait, we got hold up, stop the presses. We got somebody in the chat. Elaine Brown, aka Mad Cata. He says, "Hello, ladies. I love the way you represent. Thank you so much, Elaine, Mad Cata. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, everybody. Mad Cata. But if you don't know who Mad Cata is, let me shout him out real quick. He is probably one of my, not one of, but probably the only um mentor, as looking up to someone who emulates and consistently displays that thing, the things we talked about, the personality, the genuineness, the the personableness, just being exactly who you are. And I love that about him. And he's consistent throughout through and through. And he is a great person, great friend. I thank you so much, Kata, Mad Kata. You got to go over and follow his page. He's on all the social medias, MADCATTAH, Mad Kata, Kata up. And he is the president and founder of our super fan group, Carolina's Super Fans United. So shout out to him and thank you so much for joining the chat, man. We appreciate you. Everybody's shouting you out over here. Okay. Love y'all. He said, love y'all. We love you. We love you, Mad Kata. We love you, Mad Kata. Sonia says, "Hey, Elaine Brown, Kata, what up?" Yeah, everybody shouting hello to everybody in the chat.
Family right there.
Well, yeah. So we are going to be coming to a close here. I want to be respectful of your time, my sister from another mother. I want to close. Let's close with what do you think you feel your team needs in the 2025 draft as well as the upcoming 2025 season? What do you feel, because you did say it was your year? I want to know, we want to know, what do you feel you guys need as far as, positions, players, and beefing some things up?
Well, do we have any general managers in the draft? I'm kidding, Jerry Jones. Um, I mean, I'm really struggling with our quarterback, right? Quarterback decisions. I know that Dak is out. I know we have Rush. I know we have Lance, but I feel like we're not using
Super Rush?
we're not using our secret powers like we should, right? So I don't even want to say a quarterback because we have a couple of those. I just want to say a little bit better management of the team, with all due respect to our owner. And that's something we can't get from the draft. So I'm interested myself to see what are we gonna do? What's our move? What's the next upcoming a player? That way I can cheer them on and welcome them to the team and say, okay, I get it. I see now. And hopes that we can use our secret weapons that we have better, right? There's times where I'm like, hello, this player is sitting right. Why is he only in there for 17 seconds? Can we not? So, look at my blood is starting to boil. I'm starting to get hot here.
Oh man, you gotta grab that fan.
We're having a calm moment now. I need to regulate myself, but
breathe. Sonia says, "What a great show." She says, "Rush probably not returning after he missed out on his bonus on last game."
Right.
What are you thinking?
He can go. He can go.
Now, if anybody knows her stats, let me tell you, shout out to Sonya Pearson. She knows her stats. Now, I don't know the stats like that. I know a little bit about the stats, but I know the players and I know the game. But she knows all the stats, the players, the game, the rules, the regulations, and all that. So you got to catch her show on Wednesdays and Fridays on Prim and Proper Sports. So shout out to you. She said, "No bueno" by Jerry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
So, we're gonna follow up and say first of all, before we end the show, I definitely want to say that I appreciate you coming on, and we want you to come back to the show. We want to hear what your experiences are going to be like after the draft. You've got that coming up. You've got then we got the season coming up and everything in between. But I know I've seen you at more than just Dallas games. Tell us about that. What other events have you been to? Because you're not just a Dallas super fan.
Right. I'm a stadium junkie, right? And so loving going to different stadiums, even if the boys aren't playing, right? I've been to Arrowhead, I've been to Empower Field, I've been to Allegiant. I mean, I've been to so many. I'm halfway there, right? And so if you want me to go explore your stadium, send me an invite. I will show up, right? According to the schedule, but I will show up eventually.
Yes.
But not only football. I love other sports too. I love soccer. I love baseball. I love basketball. I love hockey. So, I mean, football is my number one true love, right? And then the rest follow through, and so I love going to those stadiums as well. So when I went to Soldier Field, it wasn't for football, it was for soccer. So it was like a double, right? And so yeah, who doesn't want a 2-for-1? And so
nobody. I mean, everybody wants a 2-for-1.
Right. And so something that I'm looking forward to this year is I get to go to a soccer game in Colorado and a baseball game the same week. So I'm like, yes, 2 stadiums, 1 trip, 2 sports.
Man, that's amazing. We're gonna look so forward to that. I know you post a lot on your Facebook pages and things like that. Like, how could that didn't even sound right? How can our viewers get in touch with you on social media?
Right. So I am on Facebook, just like you could read it. Mags Dallas Cowboys Angel. I don't have my name on there, my actual name, because of being a social worker and whatnot.
Of course.
I am also on Instagram as Compton Scholar. You get to see a little bit of the advocate in me as a Compton native, right? And also, just the more personal touch of who I am with my sports and how I just, you can see my designs, my outfits, and just my fandom, just true, authentic girl that loves sports.
That is all we need to hear, because we love sports. You love sports. We were both born and raised in Compton, and it's so funny how that happened. Like, we both were raised in Compton, and now we're super fans. Isn't that weird? Like, that's crazy.
In the water.
And being a social worker not in LA is not easy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We got my dad in the chat. There he goes.
Hi, Dad.
Randy Johnson says, "Hey, daughter, so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." Mad Catter says, "Mags, Dallas Cowboys Angel, y'all come to us again." Yes, we want you. Yep, we talked about that, Catter. We do. They do come to Carolina again in season 2025. We look forward to that. And this time, we're going to beat y'all tails. We're going to beat y'all tails. We're going to beat your tails. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Have any questions? Nobody put any hard questions in the chat for Mags. What's going on here? Put some questions out there. Got a few more minutes. Put some questions out there in the chat for Mags. Oh, Sonia Pearson said, "Oh, so sweet, Mr. Johnson." That's my dad.
But I agree. I agree with Sonia. She mentioned that Jerry's not using Trey Lance, and I agree. I'm like, what is going on? Why is he sitting down? Bring him in, coach. And so you share my frustration, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that and acknowledging.
Elaine said, "Who designs your hats?" She talked about that earlier, but can you reiterate who designs your hats, Max?
Of course. So, of course, you would love the hat, right? Pun intended. Big Val from Lot 10 actually created this hat. And so it's beautiful, but he also creates all other teams, not just the Cowboys. So maybe he has a hat for you in store. I'm going to reach out and I'll connect you guys. Shout out to the Hat Plug. He's on Instagram as the Hat Plug. I believe on Facebook, he's under Valentin Robles. So one of a kind hats, all custom made. And, when you wear them, you feel like $1 million because you're just that important, right?
It's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you, thank you for that question, Mad Cat. Just to kind of remind people where she got that beautiful hat. Speaking of hats, he designs hats too, and he does different hats, cowboy hats, cowgirl hats, top hats, and all those things. He made 2 of my hats too. So, we talked about that too earlier, where a lot of us people, super fan people in general, have so many hidden talents, and I think it's an opportunity for them to tap into their hidden talents, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be anything gaudy or anything, glamorous, but it's something that you can create for someone else. And like like you, me, everybody, we know somebody who does something. And whether it's from t-shirts to graphics to hats to chains to glasses, this is, like I said, it's a thing. So this is a money-making business. I throw this out there because I did some research on this, and it's a $56 billion business being a fan of sport. So we know us super fans, we want to up our game by any means necessary. And of course, we have to fit it in the budget, but we always want to see different designs and different eclectic things and beautiful hats like the ones you have. And again, shout out to Mad Cat for all the work that he does. But two, we all have our own talents, and shout out to you for your talents as a super fan and all the things you do and create. Because I see you got your braids, you got your, and you talked about your wings, but it's it's incredible to see the talent across the board.
Aw, thank you.
Kata says, let's go Eagles. Okay, I see myself out. Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Now, last thing we're gonna end up is Super Bowl talk, real quick, 5 minutes.
Whew.
Let me start off by saying this. Eagles, if you're listening, you guys all know I am Alabama Crimson Tide fan. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I'm a Devontae Smith fan. And I'm a, what is the name? Dickerson. I can't remember his first name. They're all on the Philadelphia Eagles team, right? You guys have one job, Eagles. Just one job. You need to beat the Kansas City Thieves. What say you,
Okay.
Mags?
Oh, I cannot root for the Eagles. It's like it's in my DNA. Like not happening. But and I don't want to see a three-peat. I'm so over it. Can we not? I just, I'm just praying for a tie, and I can't even say I hope this team wins, and I'm going for now. This is the one time where I'm not. I cannot choose.
You. Well, if you don't want a three-peat and you're saying you can't root for the Eagles, then what the ham sandwiches is you saying? Now, you know
I'm
what?
just saying, yeah, cannot.
What's up with the
I'm
Eagles?
not
Why you can't root for them?
legally. I'm not legally allowed to say who I'm rooting for. I would get murdered. My
Oh
angel
no,
wings
oh
would
no,
be
no, no,
plucked.
no. We're not putting that out there in the universe. Well, I just put it out there. Eagles, you guys have one job. Fly, Eagles fly, and win, 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 win. That's all I gotta say. Eagles, you need to win this game. I know you, Max, can't tell who you're rooting for, but you know what? People are just exhausted with the Kansas City Thieves. Okay, they're gonna need therapy after. We all gonna need therapy after this.
Yes, I'm
As we
available.
part,
We can do it. We can do a
okay,
group session.
we're both therapists. We're both available. We can all do a group session via online. Okay. As we get ready to close up for tonight, what would you say as far as advice goes as a super fan who, super fan to maybe people who might have that deep calling and they feel like that this is something they want to do. Yeah, I kind of feel like when, people want to become really super, they really do truly want to become super fans, and then they have that incredible like fear that you talked about earlier in reference to going out there and are people going to laugh at me, going to talk about me, what's going to happen. You have this like fear, and then something happens to where you say, man, damn that, I don't give a damn, I'm going out there and do what I do. Your last advice, what would you give to someone who's interested in you know making their calling as a super fan come to fruition?
Right. I think that they should go and follow their dreams, right? If it's your passion and your desire to do something like this, welcome to the community, right? It's within yourself, and yeah, oftentimes we care what people think, but it shouldn't stop, us, because behind these characters, there are real people behind these superheroes, right? People that care, and we're allowed to be who we are, right? Whether that's pink fur, angel wings, or any
Mhm.
any of the other wonderful creatures that is out there, right? Let's live
Yeah.
in a world where this is accepted and appreciated, and be brave and be bold and be you.
Be brave, be bold, and be you. Those are the last words that we're going to go and close on today. Thank you so much, Mags, Dallas Cowboys Angel, our special guest for tonight. Until next time, we'll see you. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night. It's going to be Friday night with the fellas. We're going to be live here. So you guys have a good night. Be safe. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.